Perhaps you need no explanation as to why you're here. Judging by the setup, this is a mission briefing. I take it you have an assignment. 72 hours ago, high-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound was contacted by Western intelligence regarding a threat to U.S. national security. The intel warned of a weapon of mass destruction, rumored to be under construction 200 kilometers north of Galsburg, South Africa, in a fortress known as Outer Heaven. Outer Heaven? Name sound familiar? No, not at all, actually. Not many are aware of it. It's one of the world's dirty little secrets, after all. Take it you are aware of the existence of PFs. Yeah, I encountered a few on both sides during my time in the Gulf War. 1 in 60 soldiers in the U.S. Army were contracted civilians, right? Bad timing on those military budget cuts. Outsourcing soldiers was the only means to keep costs down and enough boots on the ground. Didn't make my job in the 5th FS any easier. Trying to keep the peace between coalition forces is a lot harder when you have rookies and contracted civvies in the mix. Anyway, I take it this Outer Heaven is some sort of PMC then. PMC is an understatement. It's a fortified state, a nation built by soldiers for hire. What? How is that even possible? From what little intelligence we have available regarding its establishment, it was originally founded by a mercenary of great renown. Living legend. Legendary mercenary? Find it so hard to believe. It sounds less like intel and more like the plot of an MXS title. You would be surprised how word of mouth changes men on the battlefield. Every war needs its heroes, as well as its villains. People, soldiers included, have a tendency to romanticize such figures as an ideal to follow. Makes it easier to step back into hell, knowing you have something to live and die for. I suppose that's true enough. Anyway, tell me more about this, legendary mercenary. I'm afraid that's information we do not have. All that's available are a few scattered accounts, taken from battlefields across the globe that have been skewed by word of mouth, though there have been patterns amongst the myths formed from his deeds. The most consistent of which was his alleged role as the man responsible for sparking the modern PMC movement of the 1970s. According to what record we do have, he established his own PF with the intent of creating a mercenary company free from nations and ideologies, offering combat support to war-torn regions and developing countries deprived of a modern military. This, of course, inspired others to do the same, some out of admiration for the legend, others for business, the latter hiring themselves out to the highest bidder for whatever job needed doing. Wet work, espionage. No job's too dirty so long as the price is right. As you can imagine, these PMCs became a commodity amongst nations across the globe. Governments buying out soldiers to dispose of whatever baggage they needed to, casting blame and dispensing of them afterwards, if the need arose. That's the benefit of a private force. It's not your military. No ties save for money or a job. As the story goes, this mercenary became fed up by the political abuse of his fellow soldiers and chose to establish a state liberated from world powers, one where disillusioned soldiers, fresh from the battlefield, could escape to and be guaranteed a place amongst society, safe and free from the nations that would use them as fodder for their own agenda. Veritable Outer Heaven. How'd they come across the funding of the land? If it's an independent military state, that means it at least has some form of official recognition, right? It arose during the time of the Mozambique Civil War, and South Africa was heavily involved in the conflict, supporting Renamo forces in their fight against the Frelimo government. The situation was ripe with opportunity for business. After bargaining with the South African government, offering themselves as damage control against Renamo, and to continue the fight against Frelimo, a deal was finally struck. In exchange for their services, they were promised a region of land that would be officially annexed from South Africa, their own nation-state to govern as they saw fit. After the terms were officially recognized, and government of the region was passed into their hands. PMCs across the globe began to be systematically dissolved. Their assets, soldiers, armaments, vehicles, were all absorbed by the new state known as Outer Heaven. With the additional funds and clientele from these mergers, financial security was sealed, and business opportunities became a never-ending commodity. The world was soon forced to quietly recognize Outer Heaven as an official nation, with its own body of government, lest their dirty laundry be aired for every nation to see.
That would explain why this legend's identity is unknown. Best to keep official records recognizing its existence to a minimum. Take it the United States was among their clientele.
From what I understand, we were one of their best customers. That is, until 72 hours ago. To counter the potential threat posed to the West, Foxhound was given the task of confirming these accusations. In response, Operation Intrude N312 was greenlit not long after.
N312? So now it was already undertaken. Judging by this briefing, I take it didn't go as planned.
Sent our best agent, Gray Fox, on a one-man sneaking mission. His objectives were to infiltrate the fortress, assess whether or not the enemy do in fact possess weapons of mass destruction, and to neutralize any threat that may be posed to the Western world. As the files show, he succeeded in infiltrating the fortress. From there, he scouted the initial facility nearest the insertion point, confirming the locations of the inner courtyard, surveillance cameras, elevators, various other weapons and equipment. 3 hours into the mission, Gray Fox discovered a promising lead, files pertaining to the construction of a black project undergoing development on the site. Before he could detail the nature of his discovery, the enemy was alerted to his presence. Not long after, we were met with total radio silence. The last transmission we received prior to his capture was a brief 2-word response.
Metal Gear.
It's possible that's the name designated to the weapon rumored to be under construction, but without the necessary intelligence or evidence to act as confirmation beyond a reasonable doubt, no official action can be taken. As this is an affair of nations, a particularly sensitive one at that, retaliation is not an option unless there is unanimous approval amongst NATO. In the end, we're still sitting in the dark, and it cost us one of our best.
For a foxhounder with the codename Fox to be captured, I suppose that speaks volumes of the enemy.
These are by no means your average soldiers. Remember, this is a fortified state, home to soldiers and mercenaries from all walks of life.
So then, what's my place in all this?
After careful consideration, decide to send you on a follow-up mission. Operation Intrude N313.
Boss,
I know, the eyes of the rest of the unit, you're no more than a rookie. After all, this will be your first official mission as a Foxhounder.
so why me?
Because your military history has me convinced you're the one most suited for a mission like this. Your performance during the Gulf War under the 5th Special Forces displayed your talent for infiltration, reconnaissance, and intelligence gathering, regardless of the circumstances. In short, you're natural. That's why you bear my old code name.
Right.
You will have 2 objectives during this mission. First will be to locate and rescue fellow Foxhounder Gray Fox and debrief him on this metal gear. Second will be to assess whether or not a weapon of mass destruction is being constructed and neutralize whatever threat it poses to the Western world.
What's the insertion method?
We'll be utilizing the same method and route as Fox.
Underwater insertion, right?
That's correct. We'll approach the estimated location of the enemy fortress by sub and launch a one-man SDV pod. Once you're within range, dispose of it. From there, you'll swim the rest of the way.
Weapons and equipment, OSP.
Save for your wireless transceiver, you'll be going in naked. Snake, this mission will be unlike anything you've experienced before. Every soldier that inhabits this fortress is a battle-hardened veteran who've taken part in conflict zones across the world. You'll have no backup should the enemy be alerted to your presence. This is a black op, so don't expect any official support.
How soon till we get started?
Soon as this conversation has come to an end.
Let's not keep them waiting then.
Once you've successfully infiltrated the fortress, contact me by radio. From there, you'll receive further instructions. Good luck, Snake. We're counting on you.